Welcome to the Impact with Robin Dorsey. Today we have some amazing and fantastic guests today in the studio. Oh my goodness, this is going to be such a wonderful treat for you all. And we have some very interesting topics that we're going to talk about with these wonderful individuals. So I cannot wait till we get started. I am your host, Robin Dorsey. This is The Impact with Robin Dorsey, coming to you live from Facebook at WBGR. I also have tonight with me an amazing co-host and moderator, Mr. Munday Crowell, and he is also known as Monday Night. He was also featured here on our show as one of our extraordinary poets. So we're going to give you a lot of awesome and amazing content here today, and I just can't wait to share with you what we have coming for you next. Now, let me introduce my fantastic and amazing guests. Because sit back, ladies and gentlemen, we have a show for you tonight that you want to tune in to see. So, my first guest, his name is Vernon Williams. And many of you all know him in the DMV. He is wonderful. He's extraordinary. He's everywhere. You know, he is the man that you know and the man that to go to. Vernon Williams is a playwright. He's a producer, a director, and an author. So he has many talents, as you can see already, but we haven't even scratched the surface. So he was driven by his credo, don't wait, create. I love that. Don't wait, create. That is very powerful in itself. Don't wait, create. What you think about that?
That right there, that definitely is one of those mantras that you can definitely live by.
Yes.
You don't see yourself on the screen, make yourself a saint.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Do something.
Vernon's faith, grit, and passion for the arts fuel the creativity that puts his genius in demand. Yes.
All right.
As a founder and CEO of the Williams Entertainment Group, LLC, his mission is to create, innovate, and relevant productions that embody timeless theatrical style and character. Whether he is on stage or in the director's seat, Vernon is undoubtedly in his element. So that means he's not only a talented director, he can act, he can do many different things. So you might catch him behind the scenes or in front of the scenes. So just never know. And also his element and purpose and destiny captivates, encourages, and inspires his audience across the nation. He has a wonderful and fantastic play coming out for you soon within 2 weeks. So after this show, you definitely have to go to his website so that you can be a part of that, because this is a moment in history and time. He is from Washington, D.C. Vernon's success story is written from humble beginnings. At an early age, he was influenced largely by his grandmother, Doris Harris, who often alluded to his gifts and talents. So our grandparents always know that it's something special about us, and it's up to us to really figure out what that is, but they see it from an early age. So that is fantastic that she already knew what was in him before he really birthed that out. Yes. Which were in fact inherited from her and his mother, who were both jazz singers. Interesting. Even then, Vernon's ambition for achievement was evident, and he had made numerous appearances in local talent shows and high school drama productions. So it started way back when. Love it. Way back. Crosslands. Yeah. He's from Maryland.
That's right.
After his high school, Crossland, Vernon served in the United States Navy. Congratulations, and thank you for your service. And after a notable career in his childhood, fascinations with the performing arts was rebirthed. He aggressively enhanced his craft and discovered his unparalleled knack for stage management and writing. During this time, he also signed with Lyndon Townsend Management and was cast in a plethora of TV commercials, movies, stage plays, and so much more. I'm telling you, we have a fantastic cat here. Y'all don't even know. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you while you all
Yeah, right.
listening to me. This brother right here is bad. Vernon's diligence paid off in 2015. He was selected to be a mentee of multi-NAACP award winner, playwright, author, and filmmaker by David E. Talbot. This opportunity required an unexpected trip to Los Angeles, California, and a monumental leap of faith. However, his favorite saying was, "If you are afraid to start, if you are afraid to start, you are already finished."
That's deep.
If you are afraid to start, you are already finished. That is a good quote, and that's something to remember. So you have to start, because it starts here today. It doesn't start tomorrow or the next day or the next day. So without further ado, we're going to first introduce Mr. Vernon Williams, and then we have a few other guests here tonight that we're going to introduce to you after we talk to Vernon for a quick second. Hello and
How
welcome.
you doing? Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So how are you?
I'm good.
So you are just simply amazing.
That's just God. That's all.
Yes, look at God.
That's
Yes.
just God. That's all that is. Just over the 46 years of life, just keeping busy.
Yes.
That's all.
So your grandmother inspired. She helped to cultivate and motivate, that passion that she knew that you had. So during that, so tell us a little bit about that process. What really ignited that after that part in your life?
Well, my grandmother just always used to have me and my cousin Adrian perform all the time. Perform in front of her friends. She would always put me in talent shows to sing, to dance, to act. And I knew I loved it back then, but I just didn't know why. I just liked it. And then fast forwarding, just through the years, it just stuck with me.
Yeah.
So when my grandmother passed away at her funeral, her cousin got up on a mic to speak about her.
Okay.
And her cousin said, I remember back in the day, Doris would get all us cousins together in a room, and she would get a pencil and piece of paper, and she would write a script for all of us and pass everybody their parts. We had to rehearse it and perform it in front of the family at dinner that evening.
Wow.
And when he said it, I'm looking at him like,
Oh
is
my
that
God.
where I got it from?
Right.
So, her cousins and brothers and sisters would always say, you got that from your grandmother, because that's what she do. But her and my mom still is a singer to this day. She sings jazz. My grandmother passed away some years ago. My mom is a jazz singer. She sang with some bands. She can act as well.
Okay. So you have a talented family.
Yeah, we got a talented family. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's what got me into, doing what I do now. I started out as an actor when I got out the military, and traveled the country in my car, sleeping in my car, going to auditions, driving to New York for 4 hours, standing in line to audition for 2 hours, walk on the door, and they say, "Oh, you're not what we're looking for. Thanks, have a nice day." And you gotta hold that tough skin.
Yep.
You can't let it go. You can't give up. You gotta drive back home 4 hours, and you gotta suck it up or go to that next audition the next day or a couple of days later, and keep it moving. So that's the drive and the grit that I have with me now, is that I don't give up. I keep pushing,
Yes.
and I just try to make it happen. And through all of that, God is finally, I spent years doing plays in church,
Yes.
working for the Lord, and the Lord has released me to go and do my brand and my business.
Okay.
But He's always in the back of the mind saying, "I'm gonna let you go do that, but keep me first.
Okay.
If you keep me first, I bless you."
Yes.
So I just keep Him first, and then me going out and doing my thing. Ran into some hard times, and people just wasn't really with you for real, and God trimmed the bush,
Yes.
and He let new branches grow. And when the new branches grew, a new branch grew right over here.
Yep. And speaking of right over there for that new branch, yes. So we're going to talk about this olive branch that extended on with Vernon. So Vernon also continues to build his dynamic enterprise with his stage plays and productions and other entertainment venues with his business partner. Let me tell you about his business partner. Wait till you hear about this amazing gentleman here. Oh my goodness.
Yes, sir.
So his amazing, fantastic business partner is none other than Lovail Long Sr. And so let's tell you about a little bit about him, because he is very interesting, to say the least. And what y'all going to hear and talk about us tonight, he going to give us a run for our money tonight on this show. I'm just letting you all know right now to take your seats, buckle up, and just sit back and relax, because this brother right here is something else, but he is truly amazing in his right as well. So without further ado, let me introduce Mr. Lovail Long Sr. He was born in May 18, 1970. He was raised in Southeast, in Washington, D.C., the DMV area, you guys. As a young adult, Lovail's passion for becoming a leader and a trendsetter was evident by all he influenced. So he was influencing at a young age, straight out of the womb? Really? Wow. Just amazing already, you know? He birthed out. Amazed. Lovail became a young entrepreneur at the age of 21 when he opened his first business, Mom and Sons Restaurant, located in Durham, North Carolina. So, hello, family in Durham, North Carolina. We have one of your own here, too, as well. By the age of 33, Lovail opened Bodega Records and Entertainment Company, where he managed rap groups, bands, boxers, and actors. Wow. So, wait a minute. So, let's just get this straight. So, he had a restaurant. Then he opened up a record company. When he didn't just manage musicians. He managed boxers, actors, all in the one. I mean, come on, I'm telling you, amazing. Yes, yes, yes. Under Lovail's management, his boxers were showcased on HBO and Showtime for professional title fights. His actors achieved stardom by playing on hit shows such as The Wire and many other HBO and Showtime and mainstream movies. Lovail also had great success with managing bands and rap groups. His groups had numerous hits and songs and continued to perform for many years. Lovail also opened an urban clothing store. Get this? So he, in addition to those other things that I named just now, he also had a clothing store too. You know, where did he get the time for all of these different businesses? Okay, we're going to get back to that, because we're going to talk to him more, and you know what? He's going to give us the honest answers to these questions, because we want to know. But, yes, he opened up an urban clothing company called Bodega Sports, located in Suitland, Maryland. So, right here, is it still open? No, it's not open. But you still want some merchandise? I'm sure we can get some somewhere. The internet is wonderful.
Yes.
Was located in Suitland, Maryland, where he created DC's hottest clothing and accessories that the city craved after. Lovail and his lovely and loving wife, Angelique Long, opened up another successful venture. Was a shoe boutique in Mitchellville, Maryland. So they had shoes, They had clothes, they had accessories, they had a restaurant, they had a record company. I mean, you know, that's one hand already.
Bad boy.
You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. And Lovail's creativity started to blossom at the age of 36 when he wrote and produced his first film, Hood Related, which was one of the most anticipated movies in the DMV. He also wrote treatments and directed television commercials. At the age of 38, Lovail opened his first nightclub, the Boogaloo Green. Wow, in North Carolina. So he had business in North Carolina. He had business in Maryland. He had businesses in D.C. Look, he had two hands. I'm at 8 people. I'm at 8. Okay, 8. And he hosted great events for nearby colleges and communities who found his lounge as a great place to unwind and have a great time. So without further ado, let's meet this Mr. Extraordinaire, Lovail Long. Hello and welcome.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. So, are you you Jamaican?
Nah, I'm not Jamaican.
You had like 100 jobs in a 10-year
Southeast.
period.
Southeast.
You was a hustler.
Yeah, hustler.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
True to the game.
True, very true.
So tell us a little bit more about your stuff. You know, how many did you have? 10 more businesses after that?
No.
Okay. I'm about to say, we need to all drink what he drank.
I'm drinking in that.
You-
Hustle game.
I love
Hustle
it.
game.
So tell us more about you, sir.
Grew up in Southeast Washington. Single mom. Didn't have a dad.
Okay.
Had a guy that raised me though.
Okay.
By my influences, I started out in the streets at
Okay.
an early age of 13, 14.
Okay.
So that's where I learned my entrepreneur skills at.
Yes.
Doing those ventures of learning the streets, I was also learning how to maintain business with the streets. Always wanted to show my mother and my family something different. But no one in my family was, finished
Interesting.
high school or
Okay.
had a business. I just watched people, and I modeled myself behind I modeled myself behind women because men wasn't doing too much back then.
Okay.
So I modeled myself behind my grandma and my aunts. They was traveling a lot. They was doing what they was doing. They was traveling and had great jobs. And by me having no type of, what do you say,
Foundation.
guidance, I gravitated to the streets.
Yeah. Okay.
By me making money in the streets, I knew I always wanted to be different. So I've always been challenged in life. I think God always had people to challenge me.
Yeah.
So, by me being the age of 14, I moved out and had my own apartment.
Okay.
About middle of the
14?
ninth grade, yeah. I lived
Wow.
in Glen Willow, Sea Pleasant, Maryland.
Okay.
So, the whisper in the family then was by me living on my own that I wouldn't graduate high school.
So they had doubts
Right.
in you. So they didn't believe in you.
They didn't believe that I would do it. So
Wow.
what did I do?
You did it
I
anyway.
graduated.
That's right.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's what's
So
up.
from
You
there,
proved them wrong.
my mother was on drugs real bad. So I wanted to get out the city.
Okay.
So even while I was doing bad things, I was also trying to do good things with my
Yeah.
city. So one thing I always tell the kids, or when I was incarcerated, I let people know that, I found it at a young age, it was easy to pull the trigger. It was like a little girl can pull the trigger, an 8-year-old can pull the trigger.
Right.
But what I found out was hard that was in the hood was to get your family out the hood.
Right.
So I chose the route to get my family out the hood and pulling the trigger.
That's what's up.
So from that, this come from a grandmother too. I had a grandmother.
Right.
And she always instilled in me, like, she always tell me, like, you going to be the one, you could be the one, you could be the one. And she passed away.
Okay.
But my blessing by her passing away, she used to always write down little notes that she told me if she's gone to read them. So when she
Yes.
passed away, I was the only one that knew where these notes was at. So I went to the notes, and she wanted to be buried back home in North Carolina. She told me my family's in North Carolina.
Okay.
So when I went to North Carolina, I met my family, and I met good people. I saw people that looked like me.
Yes.
And it started from there. That was like a refresh for me being in
Okay.
North Carolina. So I took my mother and my family. I took
Wow.
my mother, my brother, my sisters. I took about 13 guys to North Carolina.
Okay.
That's what's up.
And from there, I started entrepreneurship. I knew I didn't want to be in the streets for
So
long.
you took you relocated. You left the city.
I took my family,
relocated.
took my immediate family and most all the guys from my neighborhood.
Wow, that was amazing.
I think I was like 18 then,
Wow.
after I graduated.
So when you got there, you're in North Carolina now. So leaving the DMV, which is fast paced and a lot going on, to going down to North Carolina, the pace is much slower.
Much slower.
But more family oriented. You can't just walk to the store here. How did that change and that transition initially affect the family and the friends that you brought along? How long did it take them to basically adapt to that new environment?
Actually, we adapted quicker because when we was up in D.C., we was carrying guns and we was doing things we shouldn't have been doing. But we got down North Carolina. I can tell you the funniest story is what made us change was it was like a trust thing. And we'll get into that later on where I want to mentor kids.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing with us was when we got out the car and we went in the store and we was going to give them the money for the gas. And they was like, no, go and fill your car up.
Right.
We looking like,
Where they do that at?
do you know
Yeah.
we can fill a car without giving y'all the money? And they was
Right.
like, yeah. So at that moment with me, you know, some of my friends was like, man, let's pull off.
Right.
And my first thing was like, nah, why pull off when someone trusts you?
Right. Wow.
So when they say like I influence people, I always was a leader as a kid, but not us having men around us. I was the man to my whole crew, and I actually was the father to my mother.
Wow.
So I was like the only
Father
man.
to your mother.
Yeah. So, you know, and they sit down like, nah, you know, my brothers and them like, nah, let's pull off. Like, we ain't got to pay the gas.
Right.
I'm like, nah, how you going to get through life cheating people?
Yeah.
Like, one day we might need to come here, we might not have the gas, and this person can give us the gas.
Yeah.
Because they know
you
we
can.
always were honest.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
So that's basically like the reputation I had with my family
Yeah.
and friends, where I was trustworthy.
Mm.
And then within life, if
Love
you're
it.
trustworthy,
Yes.
then a lot of things are happening and open up the door. That's why a lot of things open up the door for me, because I was always the person to go to as being trustworthy.
Yeah.
And so when God, you know, God punished me
Yeah.
because I listened.
Yeah.
And what I get from God is that when you don't listen, He don't talk to you.
He don't talk. He shut you down.
So I was always the
Definitely.
one that listened. So
yes.
like all of my friends, I always paid the consequences higher than them, because maybe I knew better, and
Right.
and he knew I was listening.
Yeah. I love it.
I got a question real quick. Black Broadway. Please elaborate. I'm loving the title. I'm loving it.
Black Broadway is something that my brother came up with,
Okay.
because our stage play is at the Lincoln Theater, which is on U Street.
Okay.
And back in the day, U Street was known as Black Broadway.
1922.
It
It's one over here.
was.
Yeah,
It sure
So-
was.
Us doing our shows at the Lincoln Theater. We want to keep doing our shows there. Our slogan is we're bringing Black Broadway back to U Street, back to DC.
Okay, that's what's up.
So we got the T-shirts done saying Black Broadway. This is what we represent in Black Broadway. So this is just something that we was talking one day, and as we talk 1,000 times a day. We throw ideas off each other all the time, and he just jumped out there and was like, man, you know, he called me and said, hey, I got something hot for you. I'm like, what? He was like, we bringing Black Broadway to U Street.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I love it. I love
And
it.
it just
Like that.
popped. So
And see, with that story with Vernon brings me, like, I don't know how many times how I have to say it. Vernon brought me energy from prison. Like, a lot of people don't know the story, but we get it out now. I used to watch Vernon from prison. So I had a phone, which I didn't supposed to have.
Okay.
And my
He was just, he had everything.
My PR told me I don't supposed to say stuff like this, but she didn't give me no rules tonight, so I'm gonna let it go. So
I love it. I love
I was
it.
watching Vernon from prison. Like,
Right.
it's like, this is a true story. This really is a book. Like I tell Vernon, everything we go through is really like a book or a movie. So I was watching Vernon from Coffee, Georgia, and that's how God works again. He didn't know I was watching him, and me having that natural instinct when I saw him. Like, I looked at several directors in the city,
Right.
and he caught me. And honestly, this is what I said, because I told him, I said, he got enough swag to hang with me.
I like that.
That's what I told him. I said,
yeah.
the little fat dude got enough swag to hang with me. So, you know, and I had another partner that was incarcerated with me. He's on our team too.
Okay.
He's a writer. And I told him, I said, I got an idea. You know, 'cause we was all the way down in Georgia, and, you know, guys from Georgia always brag about Atlanta.
Yes. Yes.
So we had to represent for DC.
Right.
Cool.
And me and him going, what if this is about our city and this is about our city? But, you know, as they was talking how they run in the film industry and entertainment, you know, it kind of put me in a brainstorm, man, we got to bring something to our city.
Yes.
See, that's one thing. I mean, not to cut you off, but I'm glad you said what you just said. Is coming from the prison system. You got so many people, talented brothers
Yes.
and sisters
Yes.
that are on lockdown, that are given opportunities when they're on the outside, regardless of whatever their life is about, whatever goes on. But you got writers, you have singers, you got rappers, you got actors that are in. Matter of fact, Charles S. Dutton
Yes.
Yeah.
came from prison.
Yeah.
He got his degree in prison.
Right.
He was on. I forgot the charge. I think he was on some kind of. I think it was drug related or murder, what have you.
Yeah, it was. I think it was attempted murder. Or
Attempted
manslaughter,
murder.
something
Yep.
like that. Yeah.
He went ahead, got his degree in acting, and now killing it out here in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I want Hollywood to know. Trying to tell you, it's not just over there in those schools, Ivy League schools out there in
That's
New York
right. That's
and
right.
Hollywood. You got talented folks everywhere.
That's right.
Problem
Yeah.
is, y'all don't want to look here.
That's
But
right.
look at it. Black Broadway getting ready to come out.
Yes.
Look at it. Black Broadway.
right.
We getting ready to do our thing.
That's right. That's right.
And see, and that's
right.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a good point, because at the end of the day, we do have a lot of talented brothers in the system, and I was there with them, but they don't have the right coaching. And see, when it was a blessing. I told my wife when I got out, I said, if I get with this cat Vernon win, and she look at me now and be like, how did you know? And I'm like, if I get with him, we can win.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that, because even through the phone, I had the energy from him.
Gotcha.
So when I called him, he was like, who is you? Like, what are you calling my phone
Right.
for?
Yeah.
So I'm telling him, like, bro, I got something we can do. He could have shut it down.
Right.
True.
He could have said, nah, I don't feel like doing this. But later on, we had a mutual friend named Terrence, and he hooked both up, and he's like, hey, I like your ideas. Let's roll.
Right.
That's what's up.
So I came in, and like I said again, with a brother like this, and the message I want to get out is, we have a show called The Odd Couple.
Yeah.
What I want to get out is, the kids that are going to school,
Right.
don't be scared of the guys that's in the street.
Yeah.
And the guys in the street got to understand, because a real street guy really wants to get out of the streets.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to trust the guys that's not in the street, because when you got two streets guys together, you're only going to get the streets.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
You
True.
see what I'm saying?
That's
That's
it.
all you're going to get. So what I hope to teach the next generation is, the guys like me that's been in the streets, hey, man, it's cool to get out
Right.
and deal with
something
someone
different.
that's doing something different and on a different
Positive,
lane.
yes.
And you guys work together. You see what I'm saying? So I hope that's what they get out of this.
It's one thing you stated earlier. You were talking about when you was in North Carolina about paying, getting the gas first, then paying. What a lot of brothers don't realize is trust.
Yes.
If you're not from where I'm from, I can't trust you.
Right.
And we go back and forth with that. And that right there, as you can see right here, you got two different lifestyles.
Yeah.
And what it took was a common bond, but also trust. Look, I'm opening up to you. I trust you. Here we go. Black Broadway getting ready to start. Right to U Street.
Yeah, yeah. And it's been, it's been when I first got with Lovail. Of course, it was people saying, "Oh, don't you shouldn't get with him. He what he used to do, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know what he used to do. Like
Right.
he would have told me everything about him."
Right.
And Vernon, that may mess your brand up. You don't want that kind of person. And I'm looking at people like y'all sound like the Sadducees and the Wudducees when they told Jesus, "Don't go sit with the sinners," because
right.
they're gonna mess up your name if you go sit with them. And Jesus said, well, what you talking about? Like, these are the people I'm supposed to go sit
That's
with.
right.
These are people who need me and I
The
need
most.
them.
The most.
See, you don't need me, so I don't need to come talk to you. You already got what you got. Let me go talk to them, though. So when people say stuff like that, I look at them sideways like, like the devil whispering to you saying, don't go do that.
Right.
That ain't good for you.
Yeah.
But he know it is good for you.
Right.
Yeah.
He know if it come together, it's gonna
Yeah,
be
it's gonna be
blessed.
amazing.
So he got to find a way to get in between it. So I can't let this thing happen because it's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
But see, I've always been the kind of person all my life.
Yes.
I don't listen to what y'all say over there
That's right.
because that's why y'all over there.
That's right.
I go straight ahead. I keep moving. Even more so now, I have a mindset of, I don't worry about haters.
Yes.
I don't worry about people badmouthing me. I used to worry about that stuff, but now it's like I'm on this road and they're on the side of the road, and they're screaming at me
Yeah.
to get me to slow up and pull over and see what you're talking about. But I'm going down this road and I'm rolling. I got a full tank of gas and I'm rolling.
Yeah.
And while y'all screaming, pull over, I got something to tell you. Pull over, come over here. I'm not even looking at them.
Right.
I might check the rearview mirror every now and then see where I came from.
Right.
But I'm rolling.
That's right.
And guess who in the car with me? Or guess who in the
right.
SUV with me?
That's right.
The Masso team.
Yeah.
And we rolling. And people screaming at all of us. Y'all need to do this, y'all do that. We rolling.
That's
We're
right.
not tripping off what nobody's saying. And if we do that
Yes.
and we keep God first,
Keep him first.
He keeps
always.
opening doors.
Yes,
He
does.
keeps doing this for us. He keeps doing that for us. I got somebody I want y'all to meet. We could be out passing out flyers and running to somebody and be like, oh, hey. And they like, y'all out here, y'all passing out your own flyers?
Yeah.
What in the world? And they just amazed because
Y'all still real.
we still real.
Still
Yeah.
real.
So you mix, you know, the gift that God gave me of production and
Yes.
acting and coaching actors and this gift that he gave me,
Yes.
mixed with this street smart brother who was a producer in the streets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't even know
Yes.
he is a producer.
Yes. Yes.
Because
yes.
with him, he got connects. He can make things happen. He can make phone. And because the city and people trust him and they know he's trustworthy and they know, well, man, Lovail, how you get in that lane though with Vernon? How y'all even get together? You put the two together, it just happens. Because all I got to worry about is production.
Yes.
That's what's up.
When it comes to business and the hustle and the
Yes.
team and the people, he cracks the whip as, I need y'all to get this done
Right.
because I don't want to hit Vernon mouth.
Right.
So let's get it done. And I'll be like, I don't want to hit his mouth.
Right.
So
right.
my folks get it done because he
Yeah.
gonna wonder why this ain't happening.
Yeah.
So it just flows, it rolls,
Yeah.
and we just keep it moving.
So y'all compliment each other on that.
Oh, we argue too, though.
We argue, man.
Oh, I'm
compliment,
sure.
but
We
I'm
argue
sure.
on a daily. Now I don't say daily basis. At least twice a week we argue.
Twice.
That's
But
what's
then,
up.
we call each other a
Yeah.
little while later, and it's
make
like
up.
it's all good. You know what I'm saying?
So let me take you all back. Let me take y'all back down memory. Okay, no. So yes, take you back down memory lane. So you all had the vision to work together. You came out, you worked together, you met, you talked. So tell us about that first project from after that first meeting. What was that?
Stranger in my house.
Stranger in My House. Yeah.
Okay, tell us about it.
Stranger in My House was a play I was doing, and it was right. I'd already started it.
Okay.
You know, we'd already started rehearsing for it. I already picked my cast, all that. And Lovail, that was right when I kind of met Lovail.
Okay.
And he was actually still in Atlanta. He was about to come up here.
Okay.
So we talked on the phone here and there, you know, through our mutual friend turns and stuff. And then he finally came up here and he decided, okay, cool, let's work with him on the Stranger in My House one.
Okay.
And the Stranger in My House was my first step up because I had done venues of 350 people or 400 people.
Okay.
Well, Stranger in My House venue set 830 people.
Wow.
Yes,
And we actually
the
packed in
elevation.
about 900 people
Wow.
and turned away 100 and something people.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
God showed, you know, one thing that God always said to me was when I first started,
Yes.
I'm going to bless you, but everybody that's with you can't go where I'm taking
Yeah,
you.
that's right.
So when I said he
That's
pruned
right.
the tree, some people fell off.
Yes.
Some people fell off, and I got a new family, a new team, and we rising. So to go to this 800 seat venue was a jump for me, was a step for me, and having them come on board, and we got together. You know, he had ideas, but he wouldn't say much. He would just say, "Well, how about this? Or how about that?" He just watched, and
We got chicken and everything too.
oh, yeah, he
Tell
would-
me
he
slave
would-
me, don't.
he would run
Why
again.
you slave me? Don't tell me that. I'm gonna
He
tell
would
it.
run to get donuts for the cast. He'd run to get water. He'd run to the store, get stuff done. He would lift furniture. He did so
he
much
did
stuff.
everything, a little bit of everything.
Right, but
Whatever was
it's
needed to
it's
get the job done.
it's that thing of trust. It's that thing of,
Yes.
well, you know, I always been the kind of manager in like hotel management that, you know, I worked in a lot of, you know, fancy big hotels in my career after the military. So the reason my housekeepers would trust me because when I got finished my paperwork, I take my jacket off, tuck my tie in my shirt, roll up I go upstairs and change beds and clean rooms with the housekeepers. And I was the manager that they loved and trusted because, well,
Right.
Vernon to come work with us, y'all trying to be cute.
Right.
Well, he showed me, bro, it ain't about all that, it's about the hustle.
That's
What you need me to
right.
go get?
Right.
And he would do it. I'm like, man, who is this cat, man? All right, cool. But he came to my
Yes.
rehearsal. He sat in my rehearsal and watched me in rehearsal. And he said, bruh, you definitely got it.
Yeah.
And he bought Big G and Juan Glover to my rehearsal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Big G, at our little break in rehearsal, Big G walked to me and dapped me up. He said, Slim, I don't even know you, but dude, I done been around a lot of directors,
Yeah.
but ain't nobody doing it how you doing it.
Yes.
You I watch how you coach these actors. You teaching them as you going through the script. And I'm watching how they may do a scene one way, but you may go talk to them, and they do it again, and it's totally different. And I'm wondering, man, what did he just say to him?
Right.
So it was things that happened, that him watching me watching him, and I'm like, man, this dude hustle, this dude grind. That's that street.
Yeah.
But now, like he said on one talk show we was on, you know, he said, you know, let me let everybody know something. I'm never going back to the streets.
That's right.
Because Vernon is the new hustle.
Yes. I love
Vernon is the new product.
That's the
So we gonna make this happen this way, the legal way, and we gonna get this money this way.
That's right.
And so, you know, we have so much coming down the pipe that we haven't even announced or talked about or anything.
Look at God.
After,
Look at
I mean,
God.
this, you know, What Your Man Won't Do. We wasn't even doing this play.
Right.
We was going right to our next play called The Giz, which where we're in these hats,
Okay.
which is the DC Go-Go adaptation of The Wizard of Oz
Uh-oh.
that we're doing at the MGM,
That's gonna be hot.
MGM National Harbor. So we was doing that,
Yes.
and I was just like, man, I got this other little play we can do. Boom, and we thought about it, looked at it. Okay, let's go ahead and knock it out. Let's do it. So we doing this one first, and the blessing of it is God is like, I'm gonna bless this because I want everybody to see this for this.
Yes.
So you went from this level,
Yes.
you went to this level, and you went from this level and jumped to this level.
Yes.
We skipped all this because you ready,
Right.
but I want everybody to see the work for this.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna take you to here,
That's right.
and in all of that, in all of our discussions, and everything that we talk about, it's more and more and more content,
Yes.
more scripts,
I got a
more
question.
ideas.
Do y'all
It's
need
coming.
security?
All right, so let me tell my quick little part what it meant to me. Because that's why we got to have an hour and 2 hour show, because he can talk, man. So,
He taking the whole show from you.
yeah. For me, what it was more special to me because I've been away from my kids for a minute. And certain things that we haven't mentioned, like I was a millionaire at the age of 18.
Wow.
And then fell off a little bit, but still wasn't broke.
Right.
Then met my lovely wife. It became even bigger in the drug game. But I'm gonna tell you how I knew that the drug game wasn't for me no more, and where I knew that this was the product.
Yeah.
Because like when I learned earlier the drug game, first thing my uncle he put me together and he gave me a little rock. I want to say, and this thing was real small. It was like 1983, 84. It was real small. And I'm like, what is this? He said, it's a rock. This is crack cocaine. And he said, you go sell this. I said, how much I can get for this? He said, $20. I said, ain't no way I can get $20 for this. So I went there and I met the first person. He gave me $20. And I knew right then and there, like I didn't want to play basketball. I didn't want nothing.
Except forget the sport.
This is what I'm going to do.
Instant. Right.
This is what I'm going to do. And that's what I trained myself to do.
Right.
So at that point, we're going to fast forward ahead. I'm getting out. I'm out in incarceration. I'm just getting out of Georgia prison. And I know the stage thing is where I wanted to be.
Right.
I watched Vernon and I knew that's who I wanted to be with. Like God talk, and like I tell him, when God talk, I just follow.
Yeah.
Not a genius, not nothing. When God talk, I go.
Yes.
So I'm there with
God
him.
talk, he goes. I love
That day, May 13th?
May 13th.
That day was the day that I knew that this is over with. Because what was touching to me and what made me feel warm was it was the first time that my kids was together, my mother, my grandmother, my aunts. It's the first time I had a business where all of them could be there at one time. Because either you know, we was in different places. I had business here and I had business there. But this is the first time everybody was together. You couldn't put everybody in a nightclub.
Yeah.
But my kids and everybody's together, and I looked out in the audience, and it was just like that first piece of rock that I had. When I looked out in the audience, because he was worried that day, he was worried.
I was worried.
He's like, man, we not going to sell out. And I kept on trying. I said, bro, the people going to show up.
Right.
I said, my people going to show up. When I say that, I say, DC, my people going to show
That's
up.
right.
I said, bro, just be patient. I said, it was probably about, what time, about 7 when we opened the doors? What time was it when we opened the doors?
No, it was an
early show.
Yeah, it was a 5 o'clock show.
5 o'clock show. So when we the doors and I looked outside, I said, "What?" It was so many people.
Yes.
And
Look
when
at
everybody came in, I remember looking looking this way towards the crowd. And I said right then and there, I said, I'm not gonna turn back.
Yeah.
Can't turn back now.
Can't turn back. Like this is it. You know what I'm saying? And then Vernon, first thing he came back, he said, look here, you can't have that other business with this business.
Right.
And I told him, I said, I'm trustworthy.
Yeah.
I'm done with that.
That word go again, trust. It's
Yeah.
trust.
So at that point, with the Gingers and the Trey Cheneys and all them, I had a relationship with these guys before.
Yes.
So even when I went to them, I'm telling them like, this is a new wave right here.
Yeah.
I'm telling Gingers of everybody like,
Yeah.
look, you do go bro,
That's
but this
right.
is the big one right here.
That's right.
We can get out of here. We can get out the city. We can do a lot of things for our city, outside our city.
Yeah.
So at that thing, once I the stage play thing, it's natural. It's the only thing I could do now. It's not nothing else I want to
That
do.
fulfill you.
Right.
Yes.
So at a point, like every day, it's like getting up. Where I look at it, it's like getting up, going on the block, stand out there all day, get your money, come home, go to sleep. It's the same thing every day.
And the funny thing he said for that show, was that 2 weeks before the show, the reason I was so worried, 2 weeks before the show, we only had like 280 tickets sold.
Okay.
The place seat 830.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man. And he kept saying, bro, this is gonna be all right. Just don't worry
Right.
about it. The week of the show, like 3 days before the show, ticket sales, they started creeping. The day of the show, the day before that, we went on Fox 5, did our interviews. The day of the show, we was up to like 400 something tickets sold.
Wow.
And I'm doing all my production stuff, but I'm worried to death.
Yes. Yes. The
And
behind
he walked
the
up to me, he hugged me, he was like, bruh, just do what you do. It's going to be all right. They're going to show up. You went from 400 something tickets sold to the morning of to by showtime at 5 o'clock. It's oversold.
Wow.
Look at God.
Look at that.
And when I walked out on that crowded curtain call, when they announced my name, when I walked out and looked at the balcony full,
Wow.
the floor is full. They put chairs down all throughout the theater for people to sit down. And I did my little announcement, then I called him on stage, and he came on stage and gave me a hug. And I said to myself, like, wow, like I was really worried,
Right.
and you just showed off. Like you just showed, and people was leaving like, man, Vernon sold this big joint. They sold this big joint out.
Right.
Now fast forward to the Lincoln Theater,
1,200 seats.
1,200 seats.
Yes.
Y'all, we have sold 960 seats to date.
Yes.
No radio,
Yes.
no media. We surpassed Bowie,
Yes.
and the radio commercials start tomorrow.
Get out of here.
They start tomorrow morning. Radio starts tomorrow afternoon.
7:26.
This is the first commercial.
The
tomorrow
first
night.
commercial, yeah.
Get out of here.
So
You here today, tonight, so go get your tickets tonight.
So we went on and stepped out on faith,
Yes.
and we added a second show, a 4 o'clock p.m. show,
Yes.
and already tickets are still selling for 8 o'clock,
Yes.
but already tickets are selling for the 4 o'clock.
Yes.
Already, I mean, they just went on sale today.
That's what's up.
So when the commercial hits tomorrow, people they're gonna buy the rest of these. This gonna sell out over here,
Right.
but this 4 o'clock is gonna start selling.
Yes. Yes.
So it's like the elevation that God is happening
Yes.
is out of this world. If anybody out there that don't believe or never believe that a street guy can get with a church boy
Yes.
and God can bring them together and make something positive happen, we are the testimony to show you it can, it will, if you keep him first.
Yes.
Period. Point blank.
Wow.
And Jay
So-
Taylor from Facebook Live says, just be obedient to his word.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. I made a promise. Thanksgiving 2017. And I prayed and I promised to God. I said, God, for the first time in my life, I'm going to keep you first and just trust what you say.
Yes.
And I've been doing that since then.
Mm.
And he's been just lining stuff up.
Yes.
Just lining it up. So, I'm proud of the hard work I put in,
That's right.
you know, for my brand. I'm proud that God got rid of some people out my life
Yes.
that wasn't really supposed to be there in the
That's
first
right.
place. And he brought people, he brought a family to my life. Something Lovail always says to me. When I may complain about, I may worry about something, he may be like, he always says, little bruh, don't worry about that. You got a family now.
Yeah.
That's what's
And
up.
we got each other.
Yeah.
And he always say, bruh, I got you. I don't care who out there ain't got you. I got you. So that drives me because a lot of people out here don't want to see you do good.
No, they
Oh, no,
don't.
never.
They don't want to see
And
you
it's so
do good.
unfortunate.
They don't wanna see
And the mindset is we're not gonna worry about them.
That's right.
We're gonna worry about what we gotta do next. What time we gotta be there? What we gotta do tomorrow? What we gotta do Friday? We gotta do that Friday. Okay, so what we doing Saturday?
Yeah.
We already thinking about
Next week.
the next one.
That's right. That's
While
right.
this one is
'Cause
happening.
This one already done.
This one done.
That's right.
So we already moving to go to Richmond May 18th for a show in Richmond.
Yes.
And then after that, we already, you know, by May 18th, we already started rehearsals for the gigs.
Yes.
While the gigs is happening, we starting rehearsals for our holiday show we doing at the end of the year.
Yes.
That's what's up.
While that's happening, while that's
Yes.
going on,
You got
I'm
somewhere.
starting auditions for Confessions of a Side Chick in 2019. When that's about done, we going into Does Your Wife Know You're Single in 2019.
So you can't tell it all. Them-
Well, we ain't gonna tell it all.
You got some under the sleeve.
Some of our sleeve is gonna leave it alone.
I'll
So
ask a question. This for both of you all. Throughout the plays and this whatever, who else influences you outside of your, of course, your mother, grandmother, as far as any other? I heard you say something about Jay Talbot or Talbot.
David E. Talbot.
David E. Talbot, yeah. Anyone else pretty much give you that drive to keep on moving, or as far as their acting or directing skills that you find that you may try to imitate, mimic, or just take from something?
Well, the person that influenced me with theater
Okay.
back in the day was Mr. Shelley Garrett.
Okay.
My grandmother and my
Really?
grandfather would go see his play, went to see his play Beauty Shop
Mm-hmm.
at the Warner Theater when I was young.
Yeah, I remember
I was like in high school.
Yeah, I remember that.
He came home and he talked about it, and they had like, you know, he had a Polaroid camera, you know, when the thing come out the bottom,
Right.
Yeah.
and he had pictures that he took, you know, at the show, and I'm like, man, I'm listening to him talk about the show. My grandmother loved theater and stuff, so they talking about stuff. I'm like, Shelley Garrett. So, from that, I would see the TV commercials. Shelley Garrett's hit stage play coming to Washington D.C. and I'm like, so I used to always say to myself, man, one day that'd be good, right? That's why in high school I took drama.
Right.
I took gym one year, but I took drama club.
That's right.
You know, I took TV and film class in high school. I
Yes.
took that stuff. So Shelley Garrett was who got my mind into this theater thing a long time ago. But then as I grew, you know, here came the David E. Talberts, who grew up in Capitol Heights, Maryland, went to Central High School in Lovail.
Okay.
But now he's in Hollywood doing hit movies now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's other cats that I look at that, you know, I'm proud of myself to be their peer. You know, right in the DMV. My boys, Jimmy and Josh Jenkins, they're First Baptist Church of Glen Arden. Love them brothers. They doing great things. So, you know, it's other people that influence me in the theater realm. Because, see, in my mind, that's my lane. That's where I'm at.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Once I master this and I exhaust this, then I'll graduate to television and film.
Yes.
Okay.
But one thing, and I will say this too, of course, Tyler Perry influenced me going to all his plays. But one thing Tyler said on one of his videos he did back in like 2005, he said, you know, in all your getting and all you're doing, master one thing first. Don't be all over the place trying to do 1,000 things. You're trying to do stage plays, trying to do movies, trying to do this, trying to do that. Master the one thing first. Then when you get that one thing and you done it so much you can't, now you move up to the next thing. And then master that thing, then move to the next thing. If that's how you know, it's good to multitask and all of that.
Right.
But you can't be, you know, the master of everything, or what's the saying is, you're doing all these things with the master of none.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so my mindset is I'm mastering theater.
Yes.
I'm doing this. I'm teaching. I'm coaching other actors, and then you know I'll graduate to that. But you know, in my life, my grandmother, Shelley Garrett, my mom. I gotta say my dad as well. the David Talberts, the Tyler Perrys. Those people influenced me, and then you got actors that influenced me, watching them on TV, Sidney Poitiers and all those kind of people growing up. So that's who influenced me.
Another question for you. So, the other day, I was watching Facebook or going through my timeline, and I happened to stumble upon a show, and it was called The Odd Couple, with these two gentlemen and Miss Trina Boo, right? So where did you get this concept to do the Odd Show?
Me?
And the content that you all put on. Tell us about that briefly.
The Odd Couple came out from an argument.
Oh my goodness.
We was in
I
the
should've
conference
known.
room, sitting down, arguing about something. This is my story.
Right. That's
He not gonna
that's
say
your
it.
version.
Because we just argued about this just
say.
day before yesterday. Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
look
might
at
be
my white
yesterday.
face. Look at my white face. Look.
So we was having an argument in the conference room,
Right.
and I was like, man, you know, I'm not even talking. So I kept typing, doing what I was doing, and he's standing there looking at me. He got a phone call. He got off the phone, and he said, I'm gonna go ahead and admit it in front of him.
Right.
He was like, man, we should do a talk show, and I was like, yeah, we always arguing. We started talking about it.
Right.
And he said, man, we should remember that show back in the day called The Odd Couple? I'm like, yeah, we should do this show called The Odd Couple. I'm going to let him have it today.
Okay.
But we leave here tonight, I'm going to go back to it was my idea.
It was yours. Okay. And you tell us your version of this and your content that you put on with the wonderful show, how real the show is too.
Well. The situation was.
The situation.
I believe in. I could create things in true life form.
Yes.
That's where my vision come from, real life. So that's why I think that we have amount of success because you're giving people real life.
Yes.
So people think everything is peachy between me and him.
Right.
But when you come from a different side of the track, it's friction in.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good.
But one thing that can always beat friction is love. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's hard for men to say, hey, I love you.
True that.
You know what I'm saying? Or even men to feel like, I love you.
Yeah.
So we are, our opinions is so different, but it do comes down the road. It's so different
Yes.
because I look at more, he was covered
Right.
and I wasn't covered.
Right.
Like I was fed to the wolves and he was nurtured.
He was protected.
Yeah. So that's more of what it is. That's more of what it is. And by that happening, we was arguing, and I was just like, man, I think it'll be a great idea. But it seemed like every time I think of something, he always has the word to say. That's why we get in conflict, because if I say, like he said, let's do a show, and I'd be like, in January, yeah. He'd be like, we trying to fight each other to get the idea out. Because we know.
It's mine. Who got the idea first?
So if I say, hey, he say, hey. I'm like, hey, sound better. Yeah. So basically, once we was like, hey, our couple, that's when he was like, yeah, we can talk this, and that. And, you know, he has his church family and everything, so I don't want to, like, turn him off on him. But once we did the show.
You don't want him to get a beat after church
But
service.
once we did the show, the funniest thing, we did the show, and
all
they
the church
loved it.
people was watching.
Loved it.
See?
They wouldn't even cut off.
My church family love it. Like,
So-
boy, y'all is crazy on that show.
So when I go around his family, they like, hey, that's his partner. And I'm like, y'all really, I can act up. Y'all really,
Right. It's
like, I
okay.
can be
It's
me.
okay. Right.
And from there, that was the big thing. It was like, whoa. It was like, whoa.
Yes, I love it. Y'all, they're pretty funny. I mean, I was watching. I said, look at these right here. They all really get. Are you kidding me? And I'm on it. They looking like.
And it's natural because we don't
Yes,
come
it
up.
is.
We don't come up to the topic till Monday. And we go in on
And when the
Tuesday.
show is, what is the show?
Tuesday.
night.
We go top. Sometimes topic come Tuesday morning.
Yeah. But the topics that we talk about, like you said, are real topics
Yes.
that
That's going
everybody
on
want to
today.
talk about. They want to chime in about. That's happening about. It could be something that, you know, like we don't have like a
Twitter fingers.
like a
Talk about
schedule,
Twitter
like a
fingers with,
schedule. We're gonna talk about this time, this time.
Right.
We come on, how y'all doing, everybody, and we roll.
Yes.
And when we roll and bounce as we going, people are watching. A couple weeks ago, our show goes from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Right.
We went to like 9:30, 9:40, and didn't even know it.
Right.
And the numbers were still going
Yeah.
up on Facebook Live. People was coming in. So like we had one show, we had almost like 8,000 views.
Wow.
And so every week it's just growing and growing and growing. And when we went off the air for like 2-3 weeks, people was like, "What y'all at?" Like,
Right. What happened?
we this is what I do in the evening
Right.
on Tuesday. I gotta watch
Right.
y'all. So we
love
love
it.
it.
I
Our
love
producer
it.
is Lovail's wife, and
Yes.
And
Hello, welcome, and thank you.
she runs the show. She keeps it moving
She's doing
every
a good
week.
job. She got to keep y'all in check.
And
Yeah.
Trina Boo,
And
Trina
Boo.
Adams.
Trina
is-
Adams. Trina Adams.
She's
Yes.
a different character. I was gonna bring her up here tonight, but I was like, I didn't feel like picking her up. But she's a whole different. You got to get her back on her own.
Yes.
She's a whole different
Yes.
animal.
I love
we
it.
love
I love
Trina.
it.
Trina is between the odd.
Right.
She's the calm.
Okay.
And Trina
So
keep
she-
it,
she
but
keep y'all
me and
little
Trina be
mellow
against.
sometimes.
We be against Lovail.
Oh, okay. Be two against one. They
He
be
be acting
ganging up on you.
So we
How you handle that? Did they ganging up on
I'm
you?
used to it. I want to
just
get
act
back to that question you asked.
What's that?
Because I didn't get to say
Yeah,
the
yeah,
influence.
influence.
Oh,
I'm gonna
I'm
say
sorry.
Got
real
4
quick.
minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say real quick. I didn't have too many influence. I'm not influenced now. I'm motivated.
Yes.
For them guys back behind the walls, you know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? Because if I could say one person I looked at, I was like, okay, you can come home and do it. It was Marion Barry. He
Yes.
He made his
DC
he made
man
his
for
mistakes.
life.
He made his mistakes, and I was like, man, I know my city accept me.
Yes.
We come back home. I made a mistake, and I admit to it.
That's right.
And I'm more motivated more than influenced, because I
That's
think
what's up.
like the type of person I am is there's not too many guys have done what I've done
Right.
True.
and be able to come back and tell a different story. And
That's
that was one
right.
of my biggest things was I didn't want it to end like he was this. I didn't want a kid to walk down the street one day and say,
The
I
crack
heard
man.
he was one of the biggest drug dealers now. Look
Right.
at him. So I wanted to be able, like I tell the guys around me, I have supported a lot of negativity.
Right.
So now it's my time where I'm left on this earth that I had to support positivity. And the guy that's growing up like me and that is misguided, then I'll be able to be influenced say, hey man, you could turn this around because you could do it here.
Yes.
You could definitely do it here.
You can do it anywhere.
I want to do this real quick. I know we're short on time. I just love to hear people's thoughts when I ask this question. All right, it's for both of you all. It's separately though. All right. If you're on a deserted island, all you could take is 2 CDs, or you download 2 artists. That's it. Who would they be?
Smokey Norfolk. Wow. Smokey Norfolk and Marvin Gaye.
That's
All
a
right.
good combination.
Why?
Smokey Norfolk, I love his gospel music.
Yeah.
I love his songs. I love his songs. His songs speak to me. And Marvin Gaye as well. When I was growing up, my dad would play Marvin Gaye when I was in the cleaning, cutting the grass and all that. Marvin Gaye songs as well. They speak to you. They speak to what's happening around you. And Marvin Gaye songs give you that good feeling. They give you that jam feeling. So I would love to have that with me while I'm out there.
Yeah.
All right.
Jay-Z and Mary J. Blige.
Okay.
Why?
Jay-Z is one of the first albums I ever purchased
Okay, that's what's up.
because he came from a background where he was like if anyone I ever like could understand, I couldn't understand the earlier hip hop because I wasn't a killer.
Gotcha.
Right.
I definitely wasn't no killer. But my mind was I can hang with the killers and I can influence the killers
Right.
to be businessmen. So when Jay came out, his first song, he had songs about how he hurt his brother and he didn't want to hurt him. He had songs about how he made the money, but he was doing whatever he had to do, even disappointing his mother to get to the money. And he was learning through life at an early age that wasn't the way to go.
Right.
So if you listen to first, and I wasn't by reason, but that was in my lifetime. Mary J. Blige is I had my first son.
Wow,
And she
okay.
used to sing so much soulful things,
Yeah.
and she used to have pain. And
She
by
did.
me raising my first son, and I never had a father, I was going through pain because I know I wasn't giving him the proper care because I didn't know how to be a father because I didn't have a father.
That's what's up.
And Mary J. Blige had a lot of pain, and I could feel her pain.
So I'm gonna ask you these last 2 questions, and then we have to unfortunately wrap this up because you all was amazing. I love you all. But so 2 things. So one, you have this amazing play coming out on March the 31st. So get your tickets. It's What Your Man Won't Do. Tell me briefly about that. Where can they get the tickets? So that's the first one. Go.
You can get your ticket. What Your Man Won't Do is about married couples getting comfortable and how getting distracted can cause problems, but love conquers all in the end. So you can get your tickets right now at VernonWinsPresents.com
Amen.
or thelincolndc.com. We have a 4 p.m. show. We have an 8 p.m. show, March 31st.
Yes. Second one, you just announced on Facebook earlier today that you are now a published author of your first book.
Yes,
Show us
ma'am.
and tell us about it.
Yeah, this is my book called Pursuing Purpose.
Yes.
It's my first book that I've written. It's a quick read. It's only like 35 pages long. It's a quick read. It's a quick, brief synopsis of my life and my pursuit of my purpose.
Yes.
So it tells you things about me and talks about things about me. At the end of my book, I put Lovail in my book. I put my brother Lovail Slaughter in my book. So this is my first book called Pursuing Purpose by myself. And I'm working on my second book already. Actually, I kind of started today working on my second book. My second book is going to be a relationship book.
Okay.
It's going to be based on called Tips for my singles.
Okay. And Lovail, last question for you. So can you tell us, give our audience one word of encouragement?
Word of encouragement.
What would sum it up of basically coming from the streets, going legit? What will be your one word of encouragement for somebody who's trying to do what you did?
Just trust God and trust the process.
Yes, trust God and trust the process. All right, well, fellas, I would like to thank you all for being on my show. You all are amazing. I love you all. You did fantastic as usual. And we probably will have you back here again. I'm going to be in the next play, but I'm going to be in Belize when y'all have this show on March 31st, unfortunately.
I'm trying to be security. What's up?
We'll work with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we also have to, again, this is The Impact with Robin Dorsey. I have to thank my fantastic and fabulous sponsors. So we have Resurgence Beauty Lounge, who does my hair and makeup. And we have D. Christopher Designs, who did my show's intro and music. And then we have Crafted for website designs. So I would like to thank you all for tuning in for The Impact with Robin Dorsey. I hope to see you all again next Friday, same time, same place, here at WBGR. This is Robin Dorsey coming to you live. Thank you, gentlemen, and have a great night.
Thank you.
Myself.
Yes.
Move as
All
one.
right.
Move as one.